In the shadow of the jagged Appalachian peaks, where the wind whispered secrets through the pines, a young girl named Elara trudged through the snow, her small hand gripping her brother's even smaller one. The world had turned cold long before the winter set in, first with the fever that claimed their parents, then with the indifferent gaze of a town too busy to notice two orphans slipping through the cracks. At 16, Elara had become mother, father, and protector to little Theo, just 7, scavenging for scraps in the hollows below. But tonight, desperation drove her up the forbidden path to the mountain man's cabin, a place shrouded in rumors of a recluse who chased away intruders with a shotgun and a skull. Her heart pounded as she raised her fist to knock, the words tumbling out like a prayer, "Please, be our father." Elara's life hadn't always been this threadbare tapestry of survival. Born in the misty valleys of West Virginia, she remembered warmer days. Her mother's laughter echoing in the kitchen as she baked apple pies, her father's strong arms lifting her onto his shoulders to watch the fireflies dance at dusk. They were simple folk, miners and homemakers, bound by love in a community where everyone knew your name. But the mine collapse took their father first, a cruel twist that left their mother broken, only for illness to claim her too, just as autumn painted the leaves gold. Elara, barely a teenager, found herself alone with Theo, who still clung to his stuffed bear as if it could ward off the nightmares. The townsfolk offered pitying glances and occasional handouts, but no one stepped forward to take them in too much trouble de mutter. So Elara worked at jobs, cleaning houses, mending clothes, anything to keep food on the table in their ramshackle home. Theo, with his wide blue eyes and infectious giggle, was her anchor, the reason she pushed through the exhaustion. But when the landlord evicted them for unpaid rent, and winter's bite grew sharper, Elara knew they couldn't survive another night in the abandoned barn. Whispers in the general store spoke of Elias Hawthorne, the mountain man, a grizzled veteran who lived alone on the ridge, far from prying eyes. Some said he was a monster, others, a ghost of a man haunted by war. In her desperation, Elara saw a glimmer of hope, perhaps a man so isolated might understand their loneliness. The door creaked open, revealing a towering figure silhouetted against the warm glow of a fire. Elias Hawthorne's face was a map of scars and sorrow, his beard unkempt, eyes sharp like flint. He stared down at the shivering pair, rifle in hand, but something in Elara's defiant gaze made him pause. "What in God's name are you doing up here, girl? This ain't no place for kids." His voice was gravelly, laced with the accent of a life spent in these hills. Elara swallowed hard, Theo hiding behind her skirts, but she stood tall. "We're orphans, sir. No family left. The town's turned us away, and we've got nowhere else. Please, we need a father. Used for a while. Ije work for our keep, cook, clean, anything." Elias' expression darkened, memories flooding back unbidden. He had once been a family man himself, before the jungles of Vietnam stole his youth and the bottle drowned his grief. His wife and daughter, lost in a car accident while he was overseas, haunted his dreams. They retreated to this cabin 20 years ago, vowing never to let anyone close again. "Get gone," he growled, but as he turned to shut the door, Theo's tiny voice piped up, "Mister, are you lonely too?" The words pierced Elias like an arrow, freezing him in place. Reluctantly, Elias let them in from the storm, if only for the night. The cabin was sparse, a single room with a stone fireplace, a worn table, and shelves lined with books and canned goods. Elara busied herself making tea from his meager supplies, while Theo warmed by the fire, chattering about the stars he'd seen on their climb. Elias watched them warily, his heart a fortress long sealed. But as the evening wore on, unexpected cracks appeared. Elara shared stories of their parents, how their father's harmonica tunes filled the evenings, and Theo's innocent questions, "Why do mountains look like they're hugging the sky?" stirred something dormant in Elias. He found himself responding, gruff at first, then softer. "Mountains are old souls," he muttered. "They've seen it all, joy, pain, and everything in between." That night, as the siblings slept on a pallet by the hearth, Elias sat awake, wrestling with ghosts. He hadn't planned on this intrusion, but their vulnerability mirrored his own buried pain. The next morning brought an unexpected turn. Elias, intending to send them back down the mountain, discovered Theo outside, attempting to chop wood with a hatchet far too big for him. "Gotta help, like Elara says," the boy panted. Elias chuckled despite himself, the sound foreign to his ears. He showed Theo the proper swing, and soon Elara joined, insisting on earning their stay. Days blurred into a tentative routine, Elara tending the garden patch Elias had neglected, Theo helping with chores, and evenings filled with stories. But tension simmered, Elias's nightmares returned, violent echoes of war that had him shouting in his sleep. One night, Elara woke to his cries and gently placed a hand on his shoulder. "It's okay," she whispered. "You're not alone anymore." In that moment, Elias realized the profound truth: these children weren't just seeking shelter, they were offering him redemption. He confessed his past, the meadows gathering dust, the family he'd failed to protect. "I ain't fit to be anyone's father," he admitted, tears carving paths through his weathered cheeks. Elara shook her head. "Everyone deserves a second chance. Kindness isn't about being perfect, it's about showing up." As weeks passed, the cabin transformed. Laughter echoed where silence once reigned. Elias taught Theo to fish in the nearby stream, sharing tales of his own boyhood. Elara, with her quiet strength, mended not just clothes but Elias's tattered spirit. The town below buzzed with rumors: had the mountain men gone south? But isolation bred introspection, and Elias faced an unexpected challenge when a blizzard trapped them inside. Supplies dwindled, and Theo fell ill with a fever, his small body racked with coughs. Panic gripped Elara, she'd lost too much already. Elias, drawing on skills from his military days, fashioned remedies from herbs and kept vigil through the night. "You fight, boy," he urged, holding Theo's hand. In the dim light, Elara saw the man anew. Not a recluse, but a protector forged in fire. As Theo's fever broke at dawn, Elias whispered a vow: "I won't let you down." The emotional climax crested on a crisp spring morning, as the snow melted and wildflowers bloomed. Word reached the cabin that the town sheriff was coming to rescue the children, deeming Elias unfit. Fear clawed at Elara: would they be torn apart? Elias, sensing the storm, gathered them close. "I've been hiding up here, thinking solitude was my punishment. But you two, you've shown me what family's really about. Selflessness ain't just giving, it's receiving too." In a profound act of generosity, he descended the mountain for the first time in years, confronting the townsfolk at the general store. "These kids are mine now," he declared, voice steady. "I'll adopt, I'm proper, give, I'm a home." The community, stunned by his transformation, rallied, offering jobs, supplies, even help rebuilding the cabin. It was compassion's ripple effect, proving humanity's power to heal. In the end, the trio stood on the ridge, watching the sun set over the valleys. Elara, no longer alone in her burdens, felt hope bloom like the flowers at her feet. Theo, giggling as Elias lifted him high, knew safety in those strong arms. And Elias, the once broken mountain man, discovered that fatherhood wasn't about blood but about choice, the selfless act of opening one's heart. Their story whispered through the winds: in a world of hardship, kindness bridges the deepest divides, reminding us all that even the loneliest soul can find family. It's the power of humanity that turns strangers into saviors, leaving us inspired to extend a hand, for in giving, we receive the greatest gift of all.